You've listed some conditions that did not contribute to the failure per se, but to the slowdown of the DCA program. What are some of those?
Amongst those things we talked about, of course, would be the Commissioner's Court. I feel that the Commissioner's Court, while having concern for the poor of Dallas, nevertheless hasn't exercised that concern in a way that will eliminate or minimize poverty. I believe their concern about welfare and feeding and clothing and giving medical attention only perpetuates poverty. We'd have it in generation after generation. I do believe that in the case of some commissioners, John Whittington in particular, that there is an understanding of what the DCA is trying to do. Among some of the other commissioners, I don't believe that there is either full understanding or a willingness to go along with the frustrations and the troubles that are and the abrasions that are part of doing this on the part of perhaps someone like Judge Sterrett, although I don't question his desire to assist the poor. I just believe that philosophically he just is not going to abide by the type of program that we have, simply because he feels that it's controlled by militants and it's controlled by individuals who have nothing but destruction. This is false. I think that there's no way in the world that you can classify the DCA as being controlled by militants. It just simply is not. Such statements as that are misleading, and they really cover up the true purposes of the agency, and what they do is tell the community at large something that actually prevents the agency from doing its job.
Do you sanction the seating of Clay Smothers on the DCA board?
Well, legally, he certainly has the right to sit on the board, and although I don't agree with his theories on busing and some other aspects of his of the solution to problems of poverty, nevertheless, the Commissioner's Court does have the right to seat him, and I certainly don't question that at all. I do question the responsibility of the Commissioner's Court decision in that I believe that it was done specifically to cause some commotion on the board of directors.
On New Year's Day 1971, the area in which I'm standing was more or less barren ground. Old plans had been laid and some grading and drainage work had been done, but there was nothing that looked like an airport. During 1971, however, the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport experienced its biggest surge of growth to date. It was during '71 that the first terminal building tentatively poked its head above the ground. The spine roadway began to take shape, and construction strikes delayed the massive utilities tunnel for only a few months. Flying over the site now, you can see recognizable work emerging from all the confusion. The value of contracts approved by the airport board grew during '71 from $43 million to more than $315 million. The airport's now 25% finished. By New Year's Day 1973, the facility will be almost finished, with only the final touches to terminal interiors and a few last paving blocks to complete. Best of all, by the following New Year's Day, we'll be able to stand here and report on the traffic volume for the first year of Dallas-Fort Worth Airport operation. For Channel 8 News on the Move, this is Jay Lewis at the regional airport site in Tarrant County.
What in the world has Peru got to do with Texas and Dallas and Fort Worth? Perhaps more than you think. Aside from the fact that their petroleum reserves are something we're interested in, and aside from the fact that occasionally our shrimp boats end up within the 200-mile territorial waters that Peru claims, there's also a certain amount of cooperation. There's a group, for example, called Texas Partners. It's an alliance that places the state of Texas and the country of Peru on a partnership basis. Peru sends aid this way. For example, when Corpus Christi was hit by the hurricane, Peru sent in relief supplies, powdered milk. Right now, this tour being sponsored by the Texas Partners will carry down the University of Texas Marching Band. We're going to cover some of the activities of the Texas Partners in Peru. Right now, they're concentrating on a city that was destroyed entirely by an earthquake last year. From there, we'll swing north to Iquitos in the Amazon Basin, the home of the Jivaros, the headhunters, and some research that's going on in the area. Then south to Cuzco, and from there to Machu Picchu, the last stronghold of the Incas before the Spanish conquered that country. All in all, we'll be filing reports from in-country in Lima, and later, when we come back, we'll have a complete set of features that'll show you what the connection is between the country called Peru and the state called Texas. My name's Don Harris, Channel 8 News on the move, headed toward Lima.
Mr. Miller, how do you assess the DCA program at this point? Has it been a failure?
I certainly don't think so. As a matter of fact, I know it hasn't been. I think there are some definite problems that need resolution, but a failure, no. I think there's been much accomplishment over the past 5 and 6 years that the DCA has been here in Dallas. I think those accomplishments can be measured in both people and change. But the problems have come along with it, and we just really haven't gotten all those things together. I regret that some of those problems were not resolved while I was the executive director, but hopefully they will be resolved sometime in the future, in the near future or in the distant future, I can't say. I think if I had to talk about the major problems that I see, and I've talked about this over the past few weeks with others, it would have to zero in on my lack of communication with the non-poor and giving them insights into what the problems of poverty are here in Dallas. I think that I've failed in this direction. I think the program, therefore, has failed. I think that there is no real insight into the problems, the desperation, the frustrations of the poor, of the minorities on the part of the vast majority of our citizenship. I feel also that the board of directors has some major problems, which of course have been exposed from time to time in the newspapers and other public media, TV of course. And I think that those problems, although not necessarily mine, also have to be resolved. When that happens, I think that some of the benefits of this particular program can be more rationally looked at and evaluated.
Shouldn't the public be informed as to what's going on in the program?
Well, yes, I certainly think so. I see no objection whatever to the media's approach to making that, giving everybody a very candid look. It's just that we really haven't seen all sides of it at this point.
Would you explain to me what some of the food is here?
Well, number one, as you know, all of our food are pork-free. We have no pork in the restaurant whatsoever, as our leading teacher teaches us that hog meat is not good for human consumption. And so what we do, we usually, since our people are so in love with the pork, we have a processing plant in Chicago in which we use to process our meats from our farm.
Minister Karriem, will the restaurant be open to all people here?
Yes, sir. Anyone who wants to eat, black, white, brown, anybody. We never discriminate when it comes down to eating and curing people of health. If a white man is sick, we will put him in our hospital and give him the best of treatment like they did us. If they want to eat, then they are welcome here at the restaurant of tasty food. It is very delicious.